Avery's very good with sign language. Okay, thank you. So I am joined by our minister, Reverend Sean Wiltshire, Steve Morihiro and Susan Shaw, our musical directors, and Danielle Lewis, our director of religious education for children and youth. We're all excited to be here and to welcome you to our second Sunday in our beautiful new sanctuary. So what a wonderful introduction to this amazing building it was last Sunday. Reverend Sean, your excitement was palpable and infectious. Steve and Susan, the music selections were magically appropriate all through the service. There are too many highlights from last Sunday's service to point out, but I do want to say to the children and youth how grateful I was to see the wonderful job you did in blessing the sanctuary last Sunday. So thank you so much. Yay, let's give them a hand. The love and respect we feel for each other is still bouncing off the walls in this building. I hope you feel it. Before we get started, I want to make sure you know that if needed, the bathrooms are in our building next door. So you just walk out the back, go to the left, and you're good. The title of our service is, Let's Talk About Sex. Unitarian Universalists often tackle taboo subjects not normally talked about in a church. Today is no different. Reverend Sean is going to talk about sex education through our award-winning program called OWL, O-W-L, which stands for Our Whole Lives. We're launching OWL for our junior high school students next month. Reverend Sean will share why this program is important to our values as UUs. A special welcome to our visitors. If you are seeking a caring group of people to lift your spirits and a place to spend your Sunday mornings, we hope this is the place for you. We're a community of friends, music, learning, and love. All are welcome. We need not think alike to love alike. And this sanctuary was built for exactly that kind of love. In the spirit of building this community, let's recognize the many volunteers who have helped to put this service together today. Thank you. Roomers, we invite you to silence your cell phones. Zoomers, good morning, Zoomers. We invite you to say hello in the chat. As we worship today, we want to acknowledge that this property rests on the ancestral homelands of the Hashiman and Tongva peoples. Here we work to heal the harm done to them many years ago by nurturing responsible stewardship and working for justice. We begin our worship with the lighting of our chalice. And this morning, I would like to light the chalice. First time in our new building. Okay, and let's begin together. Love is the spirit of the church, and service is its law, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. Excellent. Please rise in body and spirit and join Phyllis in singing our opening song.
Light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. after a while, you learn the subtle difference between holding a hand and chaining a soul. And you learn that love doesn't mean leaning, and company doesn't mean security. And you begin to learn that kisses aren't contracts, and presents aren't promises. And you begin to accept your defeats with your head up and your eyes open, with the grace of a woman, not the grief of a child. You learn to build all your roads on today because tomorrow's ground is too uncertain for plans, and futures have a way of falling down in mid-flight. After a while, you learn that even sunshine burns if you get too much. So you plant your own garden and decorate your own soul instead of waiting for someone to bring you flowers. And you learn that you really can endure, that you really are strong, and you really do have worth. And you learn, and with every goodbye, you learn.
Good morning, baby. Welcome back to town. Well, good morning, baby. Welcome back to town. You've been doing so much traveling, I never know when you'll be around. Yes, you're a fine, mellow fellow, and you're stubborn as a mule. You love me like an angel, but you treat me like a fool. Two-faced daddy, don't have me no double cross. 'Cause you see, anytime I'm ready, I can tell you, baby, get lost. You're cheating on the outside, doing anything you choose. Better come back on the inside, 'cause you've got too much to lose. Don't want no trouble, I have to be the boss. And if you can't play it my way, well then, baby, get lost. Something's wrong here. This key won't unlock this door. Now hold on a minute, something's wrong here. This key won't unlock this door. I got a sad, sad feeling that my baby don't live here no more. I could try to stop your cheating, but I just don't have the time. I've got so many men and they're all standing, and I don't want no trouble. You have to come across, 'cause
tell you, baby, get lost. It's okay, I got my guitar, you know. Anytime I'm ready, I can tell you, baby, get lost, get lost.
Good morning. For today's Time for All Ages, we have a really cute story called The Great Big Hug. Elephant and Meerkat were very good friends. They love each other. They make each other laugh. Meerkat always comforts Elephant when it's time to get a really big shot. Elephant never makes fun of Meerkat for snoring great big snores at sleepovers. And every morning, Elephant gives Meerkat a big hug, and Meerkat smiles a great big smile. But one day, Elephant gave Meerkat a great big hug, and Meerkat did not smile a great big smile. Meerkat let out a big ouch. Elephant and Meerkat felt confused. Elephant gave Meerkat another great big hug, and once again, Meerkat let out another great big ouch. Now they felt upset. Then Elephant noticed his great big reflection in the watering hole. I am bigger than I was yesterday. I'm so big that my hugs hurt Meerkat. Maybe I've become too big to have a friend so small. Feeling very sad, Elephant ran away to look for a bigger friend to play with. Soon, Elephant saw Ostrich, peacefully birdwatching. Ostrich is definitely big enough to play with. Play with me without getting hurt, Elephant thought. Ostrich, guess what? It's tickle time, Elephant called, running over to the ostrich. Elephant started tickling, but Ostrich did not laugh. Instead, he hopped away and hid his head in the sand. Oh no! Even a great big animal like Ostrich doesn't want to play with me. Maybe no one will ever want to play with me again, Elephant thought. This is a great big mess, Elephant said. I will float myself on a great big iceberg and live alone forever. And that's exactly what Elephant did. Elephant laid on an iceberg in the middle of the ocean, feeling heavy-hearted. My heart is so heavy, none of my friends like me anymore. I guess elephants are too big to have friends. I will live the rest of my life alone on this great big iceberg. Elephant wailed a great big wail. Who called my name? Asked a great big voice. It was a great new friend, Blue Whale. Shh, Blue Whale called. I'm playing hide and seek with Seagull. Hooray, the elephant thought. I have found someone bigger than me. There's no way I could hurt Blue Whale. Now I have a friend. Elephant reached out to give Blue Whale a great big hug. Stop, bellowed Blue Whale. Elephant was in distraught. Nobody likes me. I'm even too big for Blue Whale, the biggest animal of all. That's not true, the whale replied. I'm just not a huggable person. How about a high fin? Elephant thought about it for a while. Elephant thought about what the blue whale had said. I like hugs and wrestling, but Blue Whale likes high fins and hide and seek. I wonder what Ostrich likes. Maybe it's okay for us to like different things, and maybe they still like me even if they don't always know how to play. Maybe I'm not too big to have friends after all. Blue Whale gave Elephant a ride back to shore. Elephant said thank you, and then sent off to find Ostrich and make things right. Ostrich, you clearly did not enjoy my tickles, and I am so sorry that I didn't notice sooner. Is there something else that you would like to do? Elephant asked hopefully. Ostrich smiled and drew a great big tic-tac-toe board. After many of tic-tac-toe, Elephant said goodbye to Ostrich and off to find Meerkat and make things right. Elephant found Meerkat sitting all alone. Meerkat jumped up. Elephant, I'm so happy to see you. I was so worried when you ran off and didn't come back. I'm so sorry I worried you, Meerkat, said the elephant, and I'm so sorry I hugged you. I'm sorry I hurt you when I hugged you. I thought I was too big to be your friend. I love your hugs, and I love you, Meerkat replied. We can just try a gentler hug? I didn't think of that, said Elephant. And the elephant and Meerkat gave a gentle hug, and Meerkat smiled a great big smile. The end. Thank you. Just join us as we sing our children out.
So today we're going to reflect on one of the most life-saving, courageous ministries our Unitarian Universalist tradition has ever created, Our Whole Lives, or also known as OWL. Now this is a sexuality training for all ages, from kindergarten all the way to eldership. Taught in different classes, I just want to point out. Okay. So I sometimes think about how radical it is that we as a faith dare to say out loud what so much of the world tries to hush up or distort or shame. We dare to tell all children, youth, and adults that your body is good, that your love is sacred, and that you deserve to live fully and freely just as you are. But most of us did not grow up with this message. Our reading this morning helps us remember what some of us went through, and it's by Elizabeth Canfield. She wrote this. I often wondered what it would be like if we taught young people swimming the same way we teach sexuality. If we told them that swimming was an important adult activity, one that they will all have to be skilled at when they grow up, but we never talked to them about it. We never showed them the pool. We just allowed them to stand outside closed doors and listen to all the splashing. Occasionally, they might glimpse a partially clothed people going in and out of the door to the pool, and maybe they'd find a hidden book on the art of swimming. But when they asked a question about how swimming felt or what it was about, they would be greeted with blank or embarrassed looks. Suddenly, they turn 18, and we would fling open the doors to the pool, and they would jump in. Miraculously, some might learn to tread water, but many might drown. Thus ends our reading. I want to invite you now on a time of meditation to think about what she was saying. If you want to take just a few deep breaths and get comfortable, put your feet on the floor. A couple of deep breaths, soften or close your eyes as you like. I want to encourage you to think about, how did you learn about sex? Parents, siblings, friends, school. What were you taught? And if you've had one, what was your first experience like? Did you swim, tread water, or begin to drown? When you're ready, I'm going to invite you to please join Amy in singing our journeying song.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
When I was a teenager, particularly in my junior and senior years in high school, despite having grown up with very liberal and affirming parents who, and siblings who tell you things and everything, I was absolutely terrified of sex. I mean, I knew the mechanics of it and everything, but my sister and my stepsister, both my sister and my stepsister, had sex. And I remember they would say, "Didn't it hurt the first time?" They talked about it gleefully, which just made no sense to me. So at any rate, I was absolutely terrified about this pain. I don't know why. I think sometimes teenagers were a little bit like crazy with the hormones, and so we get obsessive about things. So this was an obsession of mine. And in my senior year in high school, we had to take a required, it was called health class, right? Which of course was the sex ed class, among other things. And my teacher, Mr. Bain, did something somewhat unique for its time. He was actually a really nice guy. That is, we got to ask anonymous questions of the teacher, and even of the opposite sex. So I got to ask my burning question: was there any way to avoid the pain of sex? And he gave me a very simple answer: no, not really. And while that is sort of true, he didn't talk about anything else, right? He didn't talk about all the other things that go with it, the feelings of intimacy and trust, the pleasure if it's done right, how overwhelming those hormones are. Oh my goodness, they can drive you to have sex. None of that was discussed or explained. Because unfortunately, Al wasn't invented when I was in high school. Now, Our Whole Lives was created in 1999 as a joint project between the Unitarian Universalist Association and United Church of Christ. But its roots go back actually much further. In the 1970s, the UUA offered a groundbreaking program that was called AYS, or About Your Sexuality. And it was one of the first church-based curricula to take sexuality seriously as part of spiritual development. It was honest about things that many schools did not discuss, like birth control, sexual orientation, pleasure, and relationships. It was bold and controversial, and it saved lives. By the 1990s, AYS needed an update, including adding in information about gender identity and expression. And that's when a team of educators, ministers, and parents from the UUA and UCC, which if you didn't know about UCC, they are the wonderful, they're kind of like kissing cousins to us. They are Christian, but they're very, very loving and open with us, and we do a lot of things with them. So all of these, we came together basically to create Our Whole Lives, and they drew on the best practices of sexuality education, psychology, child development, and theology. And they created all these different levels as well, from kindergarten to adulthood, and they built it around 4 core principles, okay? The first was self-worth, that every person is valuable and deserving in dignity to his or her own attitudes and beliefs about sexuality. Sexual health, every individual has the right to accurate information about sexuality. Healthy sexual relationships are consensual, non-exploitive, mutually pleasurable, safe, developmentally appropriate, and respectful. And responsibility, all persons have the right and obligation to make responsible sexual choices. We are called to express sexuality in ways that enhance human wholeness. And of course, justice and inclusivity, that all sexualities and all gender identities deserve respect. OWL is widely regarded as one of the most comprehensive, inclusive, and effective sexuality education programs available anywhere, and even Oprah Winfrey endorsed it. Contrary to what you might think, it is not just about sexual intercourse. As a matter of fact, that plays a very small part of the education. Rather, it's about values and relationship and identity and consent and bullying and boundaries and justice. It gives little children, for example, agency over their bodies to say ouch or stop it when they don't want to be hugged or tickled or to play and they just want to play differently, like in our story today. It's about teaching young people about healthy relationships as well. And, baby, get lost if you're not treated respectfully. It's about teaching children, youth, and adults that sexuality is good and sacred part of life, one to be lived with respect, care, and joy. It teaches all things that I didn't learn from my well-meaning health teacher. I guess you could say it's about letting that little light shine. Now, you might ask, don't schools provide sex education? Isn't it enough that our children go through curriculum like this is what they teach mostly here in Orange County, Positive Prevention Plus. It's often mandated for junior highs in particular, if I remember correctly. Now, it's true that California has one of the more progressive states when it comes to sex education. Positive Prevention Plus is a medically accurate and includes some attention to HIV, consent, and LGBTQ issues. Many of our youth will experience this in school. But here's why Our Whole Lives is crucial, okay? First of all, ours is value-based. School curriculum, even when accurate, avoid values. They may explain contraception, but they won't ask, what kind of relationship do you want to build? What does respect look like? What does love feel like? OWL dares to ask those deeper questions. It's also whole person focused. So Positive Prevention Plus is focused largely on disease and pregnancy prevention. OWL addresses this, but also the larger picture, that is body image, media literacy, so understanding what you're hearing on the internet and what is good or not good, right? Self-esteem, spiritual meaning, communication, which is absolutely vital in any sexual relationship, justice, and joy. It also doesn't gloss over sexual orientation and gender identity as well. Yes, okay, that happens, but rather this is a normal way of being in the world. It also is created here in a safe community. In our church, OWL happens in the context of a supportive, intergenerational, covenantal community, and that matters. When youth hear you are worthy from their faith community, it's rooted in the message in something lasting. I wonder if Mr. Bain had said something like that to me, would it have made a difference? The other thing is that it also creates more ongoing relationships. Schools teach as a unit, right? But OWL builds a ministry. Our youth don't just hear about sexual health, they build trust with adults who can continue to support them as allies and even as mentors. To put it short, OWL goes beyond information, it is about formation. It goes beyond information, it is about formation. It shapes the way young people and how they love and how they see themselves in the world. And this brings us to a bit of a hard truth that's going on right now, because sexuality education is under attack. Right now, we're living in a time of rising hostility toward LGBTQ people, particularly those around transgender people. The current administration is rolling back protections, banning transgender people from serving in the military, attempting to allow discrimination in healthcare, erasing trans identities from federal documents. And across the country, we see this massive increase in laws that are being introduced and passing that ban teachers from even mentioning LGBTQ people, laws that criminalize gender-affirming care, school boards removing books from libraries, politicians demonizing drag queens while ignoring gun violence. Even marriage equality is under attack. There are renewed legal efforts to challenge Obergefell versus Hodges, which is, if you don't remember, is the 2015 ruling that legalized same-sex marriage nationwide. If you didn't know, the former Kentucky clerk Kim Davis has filed a petition asking SCOTUS to revisit that landmark decision, and 6 legislatures have affirmed it. And a memo on Friday from our administration states that all federal employee health plans will be barred from gender-affirming care, including hormone therapy and surgeries. But they're going to allow counseling, will be included, which will also include faith-based counseling, better known as conversion therapy, which can only, to my mind, be described as horrific abuse. And not coincidentally, these same forces are attacking all of sex education. They want to control the story, to silence truth, to enforce a narrow, harmful view of gender, sexuality, and family. We need to be clear. These attacks are not about protecting children, they're about controlling them. They're about controlling bodies, choices, identities, and futures. And that's why OWL is not just a program, it's resistance. Here in Orange County, some school districts have been pressured to strip back lessons on sexual orientation and gender identity. Parents groups, often organized with political funding, have disrupted school board meetings. And if you all remember, at the Huntington Beach Library, there have been protests against LGBTQ inclusive books and curriculum, such that the Huntington Beach Library has to refile some of their books for just mentioning any sex organ, including going potty. Yeah, okay. We cannot ignore the fact that these movements are emboldened by the current administration and its allies. They frame the LGBTQ plus rights and honest sex education as threats to traditional family values, and they seek to return us to a time when silence and shame ruled. And silence and shame are deadly, deadly. Silence leads to ignorance, which leads to disease, abuse, fear, and despair. And shame leads to self-harm, secrecy, broken relationships, and even, unfortunately, death. By contrast, education and affirmation saves lives. Studies show that the LGBTQ plus youth who have even one affirming adult are significantly less likely to attempt suicide. Just one. OWL helps us raise an entire generation of affirming adults. That's why we're making a very bold commitment here in this congregation. Beginning this September, we're going to offer OWL. We're going to do grades 4 through 6 first. And every year after that, we're going to rotate through the different levels of OWL. Will be training opportunities if you want to get involved in that. You have to be very specifically trained for it. But we're going to be able to do that every single year, so that across time our children and youth will have an opportunity to learn. And it's also not just for us. If you didn't know, anybody can join in on this, right? We're going to invite the wider community to participate. If you know of parents with children in these age groups, grades 4 through 6, neighbors, coworkers, friends, please reach out to them. Tell them that this is available. Tell them that in a time when many schools are under pressure, this is still a place where kids can learn the truth about their bodies, their hearts, their identities, and their worth. This is ministry, this is service, it is justice. When we affirm LGBTQ identities, we teach consent. And when we teach consent, when we empower people to love themselves and others, we are living our faith. We are saying every body is sacred, every life is worthy, every love is holy. And I'll tell you this is a ministry. OWL teachers don't just deliver lessons, they hold space for honesty, vulnerability, and growth. They bless young people with this radical message of you are loved, you are not alone, you are whole. And that is gospel Unitarian Universalist style. Here are some quotes for those who have taken OWL. One said, "OWL was the first place I heard that being gay was okay. I think it saved my life." Another said, "It has made me much more comfortable in my own sexuality as well as my platonic relationships. I feel that OWL gave me the confidence in my own ability to hold healthy relationships, and I believe I am well prepared for a long-term serious relationship in comparison to peers my age." I got these off of Reddit, by the way. Another said, "I loved it and would definitely sign my kids up at some point when I get the chance. I think about my experience in OWL often and about how it made me much more savvy when it came to relationships. My first priority was always making sure that both my partner and I felt safe and comfortable. I also think it changed my worldview to the point that it literally altered my career goals. For years, I wanted to study sexuality because of OWL, and now I'm getting a higher degree in gender studies." Another person said, "OWL rocks. I'm definitely so thankful for having it. I just haven't had much luck in meeting other people who are at the same level of sex ed, which in dating context I have found to be tiresome to downright dangerous." And in fact, when you look up, like, what are the problems with OWL, this is one of the biggest complaints that the kids who've gone through OWL is, I know so much more than everybody else, I end up teaching everybody. I thought it was hilarious. So in a world where some leaders are trying to erase LGBTQ plus people, restrict what's being taught in schools, and shame young people into silence, we as a church are answering with love, with truth, and courage. OWL is one of the most radical ministries we can offer at this moment. It says to every child, you are good. Your love is good. Your questions are good. You are good. So I want to invite us all to carry this commitment forward together. Let's make sure every child, every family who needs this program knows that they are welcome here, because this is what it means to answer the call of love. Not in theory, but in action, in teaching, and blessing the generations to come, just like they blessed us last week. Because this is the truth. Love has always been radical. And in the end, it is love that will guide us. Please rise in body or spirit and let us sing.
Love will guide us, peace has dried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Unitarian Universalists are fully self-supporting congregations. We raise all the funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of this church. We're grateful to you for sharing your gifts with us in whatever form they take. OCUUC shares 1/2 of the plate we receive every week with a valuable community member. And this month, we're sharing the plate with Share Ourselves, our neighbor right up the street. This organization provides comprehensive health and support services for the entire community, including offering social services like financial assistance and food distribution. There are multiple ways in which you can support the church and this organization. You can see them on the screen. If you are a roomer, you also simply use the basket as it's passed around. The choice is yours. Check out our website for some more information. And thank you so much for your generosity.
Please join in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts we share. Gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We give from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
Well, now is that time that we honor the important events and people in our lives, and you invited one and all, members, friends, visitors, everyone. You're welcome to join us and to participate in our weekly ritual of joys and sorrows. I'd like to invite Judith Stamper up here. She's one of our pastoral care associates, and she's going to assist in lighting some candle. And the idea is that if you've come here today holding something close to your heart, moments from the last days, weeks, or hours, something that struck you at your core, if you'd like to honor that profound joy or sorrow, you are invited to do so. If you're a roomer, you're invited to come forward to light a candle here. And if you'd like to share your joy or sorrow, you can write it on a slip of paper that are by the doors now, by the way, on little tables. So as you come in, you can write them. But if you don't have it right now, just raise your hand and the ushers will bring you one. We have plenty now. I guess we were running out before. And of course, Zoomers, hi Zoomers, you can write it in the chat. I'll read them out loud and then Judith will light a candle for you. So this morning, as we hold all of these joys and sorrows with love in whatever way feels comfortable for you, I invite you to come forward, light your candle. Let's see here. I'll read those in person here first. Let's see here. So the Sanctuary Construction Committee they lit a candle of joy to thank everyone who showed up and helped yesterday at the work party. The chairs are done. We don't have to move any chairs. Yes. And Maria G., she lit a candle of joy. She said, wishing my lovely daughter a happy birthday today. And Linda lit a candle of joy. She said, remembering our many Ukrainian friends here and abroad as they celebrate Ukraine Independence Day today. Which I didn't know, so thank you. Nicole G., she lit a candle of joy. She said, Reverend Sean and the entire congregation have really created a house of love and safety that I've never felt before. Yeah. Mia and I truly feel like we can 100% be our authentic selves, and for that we are forever grateful. We're grateful you're here. And Dave Carlson, he lit a candle of thanks for Marianne Cry, who taught AYS, that's remember about your sexuality, to my son's junior high class. We would not let my son Eric see an R-rated movie until he went through AYS with Marianne. So he says, thank you, AYS authors and Marianne Cry. Excellent. And then online, let's see here. Oh, there's a beautiful one here from Martin. Martin says, please light a candle of joy for me. I have forgiven the pain and hurt from my life, and I'm ready to begin healing. Aww. Peggy P., she has a candle of joy. She said, for my 73rd birthday, my son David went with me to the newly reopened Crystal Cave in Sequoia National Park. She said, I made it down the steep trail toward the cave and importantly made it back up the trail. If you didn't hear that, there was a go Peggy. Okay. Francie said she has a joy, she would like a joy lit. She says, my youngest grandson, Justin, started college at Michigan State this week. Yay, Greens. And Miriam L., she wrote, she would like a candle of joy and sorrow. Sorrow to say goodbye to our beloved puppy and joy to release her to be cherished by others. If you are looking for a sweet puppy, let me know. I happen to know about this. All right. And Phyllis, I'll say yours at the announcements. All right. One last thing, if you could light a candle for our buddy Glenn. Sorrow. On August 11th, he says, my mother, Jane Claire Durling Highland, passed away peacefully at 97. She was always a happy, smiling soul, a loving mom. Miss you, Mom, today and always. Yeah. So let us hold and love all these joys and celebrations and all the hurts and sadness, both spoken and silent. Let our joys remind us to be thankful. Our concerns remind us to hope, and our sorrows remind us to connect with one another. Let all these moments remind us that we are not alone. Please join Judith in a spirit of prayer.
This is called Love After Love by Derek Walcott. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say together, we extinguish our chalice. Until we are together again. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you're a guest, a visitor, or someone new to our church, I invite you to get to know this beloved community. If you would like to know more about our church, we invite you to either stop by the welcome table out in the courtyard, where we have information for you, or you can contact us at one of these emails on the screen. Yes, those emails, okay. Just checking to make sure they're up there. So anyway, please contact us because we would love to connect with you. Zoomers, you are welcome to stay after and chat with the other folks online. We want everyone to feel a part of this community, built on a foundation of love. So please reach out and we will help you get connected.
All right, different ways to connect in this community. So there's a bunch of actually stuff that is going on today here in our congregation, and actually an invitation from the Quakers. So if you don't know the Quakers, also known as Friends, they're right across the way from us over here. Absolutely lovely people who share much of our values. They are doing a showing of No Other Land. I keep wanting to call it No Man's Land, but it's called No Other Land, which it's going to be here in their space today at 12:30. I want you to know this is a little bit of a controversial film. It's about a relationship between a Palestinian activist and an Israeli reporter, and looking at the occupation at Gaza. But I feel that also it's a very important one. So I invite you to, if you want to go grab some lunch and come back at 12:30 to go to that. There's also going to be an auction item. You'll see corn rolls being set up. There's an auction item going on and that sort of thing. So there's also, if you want to learn more about OWL, if you've got kids who want to learn more about it, or you know people who want to learn more about it, Danielle is going to hold kind of a little question and answer session. She's going to do this a couple of times, but she's going to do it after church today in the elementary classroom after the service. Go get your coffee and then head over there. The elementary classroom, so the classrooms are in the building, the far building behind here, and you'll look on the doors and you'll see one that says the elementary classroom. So she'll meet you there if you would like to learn more. So, all right, everyone. I just want to leave you with these last words. Your body is good, your love is sacred, and you deserve to live fully and freely just as you are. Please join in singing our recessional song. This service is over. Let our service continue.